Welcome to us playing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. We are going to be playing the Storm King's Thunder. Ooh.
It sounds
I have not read actually the entire way through this book yet, so this is going to be fun. But it should be enough for today anyway.
I mean, it's only, level... an adventure that's level 1 to 11, so...
1 to 11, yeah.
Yes,
I don't... You'd be a little hard-pressed to get to 11 today, I would think.
Possibly.
We're gonna try our
I'm
best.
gonna grind really hard.
Yeah.
Can we
This is going to be like a 38
Is that a
hour
mud
session,
crab over
right?
there?
I'm pretty sure we're going until Nuggan drops.
Yeah.
Okay, let's... I want to make sure I'm actually streaming. There we go. Yes, we are. Okay, excellent.
It's a good first step for the stream.
Yeah, make sure the stream is actually on. Yeah, that looks like it's going. Great. Okay. You can tell I'm a professional at this.
Uh-huh.
So, why don't you guys give a quick little introduction to each of your characters? cKnoor, we'll start with you.
Well, I am playing the Gnome Wizard Greg Lightblast Styrsch. He's a bookworm, and he's neat and tidy, and he always wants more knowledge, be it that in nature or in a dusty library. That said, he does prefer libraries to not be dusty, because you should take pride in your work, so make it neat and tidy if possible. And I think, other than that, he seems to be a bit of a restless soul. He seems to be very much into let's go on an adventure. If people ask him where he's from, he can't really say. He knows that he's from somewhere and he's going somewhere, but currently that probably doesn't matter that much. I think that's like the introduction you're gonna get out of him. He looks nice though. Looks nice.
Grunty Thirst, how about you?
I'm playing Boss Benoit, who I will not be doing an accent for because I'm terrible at actually keeping up accents during play.
Or are you gonna do like a gambit?
I was gonna do something. I probably will use a lot of Southern mannerisms, but that's mostly just because that's where I live. He is basically he's a paladin of Kellenborg, who's a death god, and he is essentially a crazy old guy who lives in the swamp and hunts necromancers and undead. He's got kind of an inexplicable charm to him, like in a sort of like, how interesting and somewhat charming this weird, like moss-covered, crazy half-elf is. So technically you could call him charismatic, just not in the way that you would normally consider.
Okay. Great. Titas.
So I will be playing Mograin, a half-orc fighter who hails from the Omnian city of Purskul, the daughter of two half-orc labor workers. She was taken in at an early age by a military commander who raised her as part of a specialized shock troop unit, to which she eventually became the leader of. And due to circumstances she doesn't like to get into specifics of, she's no longer with the company, and is now traveling as a sword for hire, a halberd for hire, and has found herself all the way up in the north along the Sword Coast.
Great. Skuzal?
So I am playing Godric, who is a paladin of Torm. He's your stereotypical paladin where he's easy to trust people, he's kind, he wants to help out the lesser man if possible. He's from a noble family in Cormyr, sorry. And
Cormyr, okay.
When he joined the Paladin Order, he renounced his name, but he's still of noble blood to a certain extent. And he resents what he witnessed as a noble while he was younger.
Great.
Boo
Turning up the volume
injustice,
for everyone.
basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I've turned up the volume for everyone, so that should help the stream hear you guys a little bit better. But, so you guys are in the Forgotten Realms in Faerun. If the map would come up here. Yeah. You are on your way to a little outpost called Nightstone, which is between the cities of Waterdeep and Daggerford. You've been traveling along the high road for days. As evening approaches, you spot a wooden signpost next to a trail that heads north into the hills. Nailed to the post are 3 arrow-shaped signs. The 2 marked Waterdeep and Daggerford follow the high road but point in opposite directions. The 3rd, marked Nightstone, beckons you to follow the trail. If memory serves, Nightstone is roughly 10 miles up the trail. So you guys arrive one by one at this crossroads on the high road on your way to Nightstone. We'll say Godric gets there first, is standing there looking at the sign when he spots Boss coming up the road. Just a few moments later, Greg arrives, and then Mograin.
I rolled
Yep,
for
go ahead.
initiative and charged the no, I don't.
The signs.
Yeah, exactly.
I cast Fireball on the signs.
I slay them. No, but if
Okay.
it,
All right, good game, everyone.
That should take us to
yeah,
level
yeah.
11.
Thanks for joining the stream.
you will no, wait, I don't actually have that. Never mind. Greg, as he's walking up towards the signpost, is probably whistling a semi-okay tune. But as soon as he sees humans, he'll probably stop and greet them and say, "Hello, fellow travelers," because Greg likes to be fancy with his talks when he can be.
So, are we meeting for the first time on this?
Yeah, you're
trail?
meeting for the first time. If you'd like to decide that you know each other, or some of you know each other, you can do that. But for right now, you haven't been traveling together. You arrive separately at this crossroads.
Okay. Well,
Greetings,
I'm not.
future friends.
Classic greeting.
I just kind of nod, kind of weirded
Distance
out.
yourself.
Not distance myself, but future friends,
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Well, I mean, so
I'm
I'm
apprehensive.
So I'm assuming, since you're all standing around looking at the signs, are you two going to Nightstone, as it were?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, I'm traveling on my travels as a Paladin of Torm.
I'm sure that's lovely.
Oh,
Good
shit.
on
Is
you.
that what that says?
Yeah,
Nice.
it is. It's definitely saying that. I made it sound like it's not, but yes, it's saying that. I don't know why you're going there, but I hear there's a lovely inn. And I'm going to go probably talk to the innkeep for, well, as you know, us gnomes, very much for adventure, looking to be more knowledgeable than I am. I'm a wizard, you see, because my name is Greg Lightblast.
I'm gonna keep walking down the road.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I snap my fingers and try and, since I'm not as fast as these long-legged creatures, I'm picking up the pace so I can keep track. Then I snap my fingers and one of my fingers start glowing as I cast light on it. We're like,
Okay.
Light blast.
You snap your fingers, and a light spell erupts from your hand, and your finger shines with a brilliant illumination as you follow along behind everyone else who leaves the main high road and wanders down the path towards Nightstone.
Boss is still looking at the sign and squinting a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit, takes out a little notebook, and is doing what looks like counting on his fingers, which is kind of weird because you figure he's reading, and then eventually just sort of shakes his head and follows the path. So he's a little bit behind the others. He's not necessarily traveling with them. He's just kind of... He said the right words. That's where I'm supposed to be going, but I could have sworn that said, like, Nightfell or something.
So it's essentially Godric and Mograin who's walking ahead, then Greg who's kind of half running
Trying to
afterwards.
keep up.
Right.
Yeah, and then Boss like 10 meters after.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys leave the high road and head down the path towards Nightstone. After following the trail for 10 miles, you hear the ringing of a bell. The sound grows louder as Nightstone comes into view. A river flows around the settlement, forming a moat. The village itself is contained within a wooden palisade, beyond which you see a windmill, a tall steeple, and the high-pitched rooftops of several other buildings. Apart from the ringing of the bell, you detect no other activity in the village. The trail ends before a lower drawbridge that spans the moat. Beyond the drawbridge, 2 stone watchtowers flank an open gap in the palisade. South of the village, and surrounded by the river moat, is a cone-shaped, flat-topped hill on which stands a stone keep enclosed by a wooden wall. The keep, which overlooks the village, has partially collapsed. A wooden bridge that once connected the keep to the village has also partially collapsed. So you guys can go ahead and switch your map and take a look around the area. The bell continues to ring, but I'm going to turn off our sound effect so it doesn't get a little too annoying in the background there.
So upon seeing something that looks fairly suspicious, do we see this collapsed bridge over here?
Yeah, you see the bridge over there that has collapsed.
I'm going to hold out my hand and say, "Whoa, everybody, slow down. Something seems off here."
Now, is it normal for church bells to ring like this when no one's around?
Make an insight roll.
Let's see. What do I need to roll for insight?
So 1d20, and then you have an insight skill, and just add that to your d20 roll.
Right. Where's my... I have to find... Well, I can start by rolling, and then we'll... 1d20. So 14 plus 2. So 16?
16. No, you know, it's late in the day. It's not really time for any sort of church bells to be ringing. And even if it was, they would have stopped by now. I mean, you know, if they would ring just a few times and that would be it. This is a continuous bell tolling over and over as you're approaching this outpost.
I mean, I guess that... Maybe they made a machine that just rings a bell and everyone got really annoyed by it and left.
I somehow doubt that is the case.
Yeah.
It's a little suspicious to me that the drawbridge is currently down, because we're fairly out in the wilderness, right? Seeing just like goblins and... Okay. So having your drawbridge down is probably a bad sign.
That sounds plausible.
Especially this late at night with no one guarding it. Could I roll a perception to see if I can see anyone guarding it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well.
It's not
gonna be a good start.
8 plus, what's your...
3. I got 11.
I might as well squint as well. Well...
Okay.
I'm also going to attempt to perceive.
You're looking from where you guys are standing right now, still a bit down the path away from the drawbridge. You can see along the palisades there's a number of guard towers. You see that there's guard towers across next to the drawbridge. You don't see anyone in them. You don't see anyone else around. Looking over towards the partially collapsed keep, where the completely collapsed bridge is, you don't see anyone in the guard towers there either.
Hey,
The keep is partially collapsed.
Yeah.
The keep is partially collapsed as well, yes.
I have whispered to Boss if he sees anything, since he apparently walked over to the edge of the...
So I was walking behind you, but Boss is also kind of keeping towards the water, as is sort of his... He's just kind of used to that environment.
Yeah, if he was ever to spontaneously combust and needs to...
and also he lives in a swamp.
I get it.
And as soon as he heard the bells, he basically just did a belly flop in the mud, started rolling around, and is now attempting to stealth.
Okay, make a stealth roll.
$13.
13.
Oh, very
Rolls
fancy.
today.
Yeah, okay. So you're kind of crawling around on the bank of the river here in the mud with a 13 stealth.
Yeah, basically just a little bit alarmed that there's a bell out of nowhere. I'm assuming he's heard bells before. They're not super common out in the bayou, but he's traveled enough. Yeah, he's traveled enough that he knows what a bell is, and usually a bell at a random time like this is probably not a good sign. So he's a little bit like he's keeping a keen eye out to see what's going on, but he's probably not far enough to perceive the bridge yet.
Let's just
Let's probably just gonna follow the group at a distance to see what they're doing.
how about we
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw my sword, and then I'm gonna start moving forward.
Okay, you draw your sword and head up towards the bridge, the drawbridge.
I guess I'll if my new friend is drawing a sword, I am gonna put mage armor on myself and then follow.
Okay.
These guys aren't my friends, but Godric seems like he sees something, and I just have enough experience. He's probably onto something.
Okay,
I remove the
Godric
halberd from my back.
Godric and Mograin draw their weapons and head up the path. Greg takes a moment to cast mage armor on himself, whoosh, and a shimmering set of armor just surrounds the gnome as he watches his newfound traveling companions wander away, and Boss continues crawling along the riverbank as sneakily as he can. So, Skuzal, Titas, go ahead and move yourselves a little closer to the drawbridge.
And I'm kind of keeping pace with them,
maybe there.
but back.
Okay.
So as they move
you're
up,
just
I'll
hanging
move
back
up.
a little bit, sure. So you get closer to the drawbridge. Go ahead and make a survival check.
I'm gonna run up here. Whenever I get to, if they stop, this is probably where I run up to. But tell me when I get there.
Yeah, you're right
Nice.
there. You're good.
Okay.
Skuzal gets a 3. Titas, you get a 17. Excellent. Looking around the drawbridge, looking into the town, looking at the path around you, you see a set of there's a number of probably several dozen humanoid footprints leaving the village and heading towards the north. Not so away from the path that you're just coming on. They're heading north. You also see that there's a maybe a dozen smaller humanoid tracks heading into the village.
Okay, so there's definitely this village is probably being pillaged.
You also see what seems to be 2 sets of wolf tracks also heading into the village.
Wolf tracks and smaller humanoids. Can I use this information with some sort of roll to determine a guess of what might be?
You can make an insight check.
Insight check. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you also going to point these tracks out to me, or am I just
Yes.
going to continue on?
No. I'm not very I just put a hand on your chest piece, just stop you, point towards the tracks.
Okay.
There, you notice them.
In which case, I'm also gonna roll the insight and see.
Insight.
Yeah, that's 17 to try and determine small humanoid tracks with wolves. What that could be.
Small humanoid tracks with wolves. To you, looking at these tracks and just general knowledge of stuff like this and the area, that seems like goblins to you. It seems like goblins came into this village and everyone else kind of left. Or at least many people fled somehow.
And we don't see any goblin tracks leaving, just entering?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Seems strange though that I mean a small group of goblins and wolves sure would scare villagers, but
Also,
do that damage to a bridge?
Also, isn't this?
Or Why is the drawbridge down? They could have just raised
Yeah.
the drawbridge and the goblins would have just shrugged and walked on.
And this place has a well-known adventure inn. Surely there'd be some people that knew how to fight.
So, upon seeing the fact that there's presumably still goblins in this town, Godric's gonna start rushing inward.
Okay. Well, you start rushing in. Just for ease of everything, I'm going to reveal the town part of the map here.
Ooh, okay.
You've discovered a new zone.
100
Noted.
experience.
Please wait.
Okay,
yeah,
so there's a whole bunch of...
you rush across the
Problems.
drawbridge, and you find yourself next to a set of stone watchtowers on the inside of the palisade here. They're about 20 feet tall. They each have enclosed roofs. So, looking before you into the town, you see these sort of gray circles on the ground here. Each of those, taking a look at it from where you are, seems to be a boulder, a big chunk of stone, each about maybe 3-4 feet around, sunken pretty deep into the ground.
Oh.
Okay, so
Okay.
now it makes sense why the citizens seem to have left,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because they were under siege by something.
So something big. Either there's a machine.
Can I examine this rock to see if I can gather anything from it?
Yeah, go ahead, take a look at it. Either perception or investigation, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
I will investigate.
I am
Well,
also.
I'm just not going to do anything.
It's a rock.
I mean,
I'm
you
gonna-
poke it a few times. It's a rock. You can't tell too much else about it. It's sunk kind of deep into the ground, maybe about halfway of its diameter.
Nice.
I'm
I've
gonna.
identified a rock, boys.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from the blisteringly smart paladin and do some of my own investigation
Okay.
because I'm very smart. So I roll a 13 in total.
A 13. So, are you still looking at these rocks, or what are you investigating?
Yeah, no, I've walked a few meters in, but I'm basically, I'm looking at the rocks, being like, okay, so they're halfway into the dirt. Clearly, they've been thrown from a great height, either by a machine, I guess, or could it be anything else? Can you do this
So-
with magical means? I guess
Looking at these rocks, what you notice, they're big chunks of stone. They don't seem to be purposefully rounded, like they were placed into a catapult or something
Yeah.
like that, where they had to fit purposefully. And what you do notice is that they don't seem to have skidded on the ground and pushed in at any sort of angle. These have fallen straight down.
So, and by that, a catapult, I guess, would have actually skidded because they go on an arc, right?
See,
Right.
it's-
So,
it's
it
a
would have
siege
pushed into the
machine.
ground a little bit
Yeah.
at a kind of an angle. These seem to have fallen straight out of the sky directly
Yeah.
into where they have landed.
So it's my assumption then that someone either used some type of levitation spell and just flew a bunch of rocks in and dropped them.
You're not sure. You don't know how this could have happened, but that's what you get from it.
It's my working theory. There are floating
Okay.
rocks that stop float. No, but I do point out that they seem to have been dropped straight down, which a catapult wouldn't do. So there's
Yeah,
clearly
that's-
something.
They came out of the sky somehow.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it's wise to raise this drawbridge if possible? Like, do we see the contraption for it anywhere?
Make a perception check.
All right. Maybe I'll actually roll greater than a 2 this time. There we go.
14. You don't see anything here in the path to raise the drawbridge, but looking at the bridge, you see the chains on it. Each go up to one. The chain on each side goes up to its respective guard tower. So you're
Okay.
assuming that you'd have to climb the tower, and from there you could raise the bridge.
Yeah. May I point out that someone is still ringing the bell? And if it's someone that needs help, we might want to
So, the
Look at
bell
that
seems
straight
to be
away.
coming from this area over here, if you can see my arrow.
Mm-hmm.
From that building?
Is
From
this
that
a
building.
wall or a fence?
That is a very low wall. It's a very low stone wall. Looking at it from where you are, you see that behind it is a graveyard.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Boss is already on his way up that way.
Okay.
So, my concern is if goblins have already come into this town, there could be more on the way. And it might be a good idea to block off the potential for them ambushing
So,
us
First,
as we move into
Grunty,
the
make
city.
a perception check for me while you're looking through that graveyard.
Eight.
8. Okay. You're looking in there. There are some, footprints meandering between the graves, some that you can see from where you're standing, and in the far corner, you can see that there is there's an above ground crypt. So there's this little building up here, is some enclosed crypt, different from the rest of the graves that are all around this plot here.
Okay, can I get over that wall without really an issue?
It's about 4 feet high. You could vault it if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop over.
Okay, you hop over. So for now, Skuzal, Godric, what are you doing?
Mograin, would you be willing to help me raise this drawbridge?
I think that sounds like a smart idea. Whatever is from these rocks, if they're coming in from the sky, drawbridge isn't gonna do much. And if it's those goblins on the bells, they're going for reinforcements.
Okay, so you each climb a guard tower, and they both contain a winch that you can turn to raise the drawbridge. So if you're going to do that, each of you just make a little strength check for me. Yeah. This is a well-balanced drawbridge. Both of those together are perfectly fine. You crank the winches and raise the bridge up, and it closes.
I'm gonna.
cKnoor, what are you doing?
I want to see what's going on with this bell, but
Okay.
if there's goblins, I don't want to rush in. So I'm assuming that the entrance is on this side because that seems to be where the path is. So I'm kind of not sneaking because I don't know how to sneak, but to
You can still stealth without the skill.
Yeah,
being proficient in it, but
I'm gonna try and be as stealthy as I can and
make a perception check as you're wandering over that way.
Okay, let me see. My perception is it's wisdom, so it's plus. It's 2 because I don't have anything in it. Okay. Eight.
So
Yeah, 8 bros.
Okay. No, you wander up to the door of this temple where this bell is continuing to ring.
So this temple, the bell is in the tower, I assume.
The tower is right here, actually.
Yeah,
now that
the
I
tower's
get a
right
better look
here.
at the map. The tower's right here, and this bell is continuing to ring.
Can I try looking in, like, through windows or through the bell tower, see if there's any, like, movement inside?
So look at you. So you're standing up in the guard tower, kind
Yes.
of looking into this temple right now. There's not actually windows that you can see through. There's a number of stained glass windows raised up fairly
but those-
high,
Yeah.
but they're actually in this section here, from what you can see. But you can't see into the temple from where you are.
Okay.
cKnoor, you see there is a heavy wooden door on the front of the temple with 2 symbols on it. Make an insight roll. Let's see if you recognize these religious symbols.
Mm-hmm.
Probably be a religion roll.
Oh, religion roll. Excuse me. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I'm better at that. So 14.
14, yeah. So, judging by the symbols on this door, this temple is dedicated both to Lathander, the god of the dawn, and Myliki, the goddess of the forests. You see dawn rising above a number of trees and lots of symbols of light and nature on the door.
Okay, well, I don't know if that would change anything for me, really, other than people are being religious. But that's
For
nice.
some reason.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Is
I'll hop out of this guard tower and start moving
the main
towards
door
Greg.
open or closed?
It's closed.
I guess I'm gonna try opening it then.
Okay. You push on the door. It swings open fairly easily. What are the rest of you doing?
While he's doing that, Boss is making his way over here to where it looks like the gravy site has been disturbed by a rock, and
Okay.
he's just checking out, seeing what the deal is there.
Yeah, there is a large boulder that seems to have fallen just straight out of the sky and has smashed a few gravestones and disturbed some graves there. But other than that, you don't see anything unusual about it, particularly.
That's what I'm doing at the moment, is just, and also just kind of looking at their method, like getting an idea of like their method of interment and whatnot,
Okay.
which
I'm
just seems to be
backing up.
standard burial.
I'm backing up Greg as he's opening this door.
Okay. So yeah, he
So,
he goes over and pushes the door open. I lost my sound effect thing. Yeah, he pushes the door to the temple open fairly easily. Inside, cue up some different music there for a temple. Inside, you see dim sunlight, since it's getting fairly late in the day now. If the sun will be setting soon, if it hasn't gone completely below the horizon yet, but it's definitely beyond the trees at the outside of town. So you see dim light pouring through the sets of stained glass windows into this temple. Beneath the windows, there's plain wooden benches for people to sit on. Otherwise, this room is mostly empty. Standing against the back wall, there's a wooden pulpit that has stairs leading up to it, and the floor is dirt. Just a little north of the pulpit, set into the west wall, you can see another open door. But otherwise, this room is pretty barren and empty.
The bell is still ringing, though, right?
The bell is indeed still ringing.
Okay, well, let's continue towards presumably where the bell tower would be.
Yeah. I'm
Boss
assuming.
is-
Does Godric look like a paladin?
Yeah,
Godric,
I'm quite obviously a paladin. Like,
Yeah.
I have religious symbols all over my
Yeah.
body. My
So-
the center of my chest piece is the hand of Torm.
So that means I'm gonna assume that Godric knows his way around a church. I'm just gonna follow
Well-
him.
Based
I-
off of my previous intelligence rolls, that might not be a wise decision.
Well,
I shout, knock that shit off in Orcish.
Okay.
And I'm going to roll for intimidation.
damn
Make
it.
an intimidation check. Go ahead.
Damn it, I don't know Orcish. I'm very disappointed in myself.
That's 19.
19. Okay. After you shout, you hear the bell stop.
Okay, it's goblins.
Is this door? There's a door here, right?
No, there's not a door there. The door they
Ah.
went in is over here. You hear there are stained glass windows, like on the second story.
I thought you
of the
mentioned
door.
another door to the north.
Inside, there is a door to the north, but you do not see a door outside.
All right, I'm gonna go back around and kind of come in behind them,
Okay, you come into the temple right behind them, and
I whisper to Mograin and Orcish, "That's not very subtle."
Okay.
I shrug.
Turn around and there's this weird swamp hobo whispering to you in Orcish that you forgot was there.
I shrug. Not so.
Am I correct in thinking that there'd probably be a ladder over here to the bell tower?
So this building here stops like right about here. So there's
Okay.
a door here that leads back into some back area, but
Okay.
the room you're in stops right about here.
I'll walk up to this door and open it then.
I'm going to take 30 seconds to refill my drink, and then we will continue with our adventure.
You know, it's a good place for the
Yeah.
YouTubes to stop as well. So goodbye for now, YouTube.